My name is Mal Fleming. I am here to assist in your passage. Can you remember your name and the circumstances of your death?
Karen Inci. Car accident. Feels like we should be getting some rain sometime soon, right? Been dry these past few weeks.
Oh, I suppose.
Are you one of those people that can't stand the rain?
No, there's something calming about it, as long as you're not stranded in a storm or something.
I feel the same way. I love hearing the sound of the raindrops on the taxi window. There's music to it. Plus, you make more money in the rain. No one wants to walk. Everyone tips better. Do you want me to turn on the radio?
Can you do that?
Sure. Not sure why I can still do that. There aren't any stations, just what you're hearing. I like it, though. Like the rain. Calming.
So, would it be helpful to talk about the circumstances of your death?
I knew it was going to happen. You spend so much time in the cab that dying at home just feels wrong. Almost. And it was quick. I was grateful for that. No one else died. Didn't have a passenger. I was on my way to LaGuardia. The airport fares are the best, even if you don't get a passenger on the way there. There's still enough money to be worth it. And it's a good thing to die on your way somewhere. En route.
That doesn't make you feel incomplete?
No. Not at all. Or I was comfortable with the journey. Now, when you're driving, when you're on the road, it can feel like nothing will ever end. There's a different quality to the time, like how light is different when it's reflected in a street puddle. I liked living there.
And how long did you live there?
I was a cab driver I started in the 70s as a fleet driver. Was able to save up for my own medallion after a couple years. Kept driving in the 80s, 90s up to Bloomberg. 8 hours a day, sometimes more. I took the job because you could set your own schedule a bit, take breaks. When I started out, I'd take days off, go to Coney Island for the sun. Eventually, I didn't see the point. Even when I was out of my cab, it was like I was still in transit. So I spent more time driving. Less time in my apartment, less time sleeping. You get to choose when you're on the road. Especially when you own your own medallion, own your cab. So you can drive as much as you want. I don't think I can add up the hours, but it's years. More than a decade, probably.
Did you ever think about retiring?
No. Not really. I could have. I bought my medallion when it was about 30,000. Before I died, it was nearly $1 million.
Oh.
Owned my apartment too, but I liked driving. I didn't want to stop. Didn't feel like I could, really. You want to hear something strange, Mel?
Of course.
When it was late at night, especially when it was raining, and especially when it was that early summer heat, like everything was sticky and the water was washing it off, it felt like the road went on forever.
Like the drive would never end?
More than that, though, like the borders were washing away in the rain, the borders between night and day, one place and another, life and death. When I was driving, it felt like this, like how I am now. It felt a lot like this.
And did you enjoy that feeling?
I don't know. I don't know if I liked it exactly. It felt right, though. It felt comfortable. I liked hearing people's stories. That was the best part.
People would just tell you their secrets?
Yeah. And more than that, when I was a part of a fleet, there was this other cabbie I talked to while we were waiting to get assigned. He used to be a priest, Catholic, fell in love with a woman in his congregation, got kicked out of the church when a deacon walked in on them, committing sacrilege, I guess you could call it. The woman ended things when she realized she wasn't actually in love with him. She just liked the danger of it all. Maybe she was turned on by the incense too, who knows. Anyway, the ex-priest, now cabbie, he said that the cab was how'd he put it? A secular confessional. You've got the barrier, the driver's anonymous, there's the radio, but other than that, there's nothing to do except talk. So you can unburden yourself. Say things you'd never say to anyone you actually knew. I was never religious, grew up Eastern Orthodox, but the ex-priest was right. There's something, if not sacred, hallowed about it. You hear stories driving a cab.
Do any of the stories stand out? If you don't mind sharing them,
I wasn't an actual priest. I'm not bound to secrecy. Yeah, I heard a lot of dreams. It's people trying to wish a future into being, hoping that by talking to me, it would make it more real, more likely to happen. It was good to hear people who were new to the city, people who were still blinded by the lights, deafened by the street noise, gasping a little when they saw the taxi cabs, just like in the movies. People who love New York the only way someone who's lived here for just a few weeks can. Like giving ride to a puppy. There was one kid, said he was 19, he was probably even younger. He had just gotten into the city from somewhere, I think it was Michigan, Minnesota maybe, Montana. It began with an M. Anyway, his town was smaller than the one I was born in, and that's saying something. He was working as a waiter in some shishi restaurant in Tribeca. Found some roommates. I think he decided to hail a cab because, hey, he was in New York. If he wanted to hail a cab, he could. Just like in the movies. He was going to be an actor, or a director, or a writer. He hadn't decided yet, but he was only going to be a waiter for a while. Not that there was anything wrong with being a waiter, he was just... he was such a polite kid. Such a small town kid. We got into some traffic and he told me about why he left. And his parents didn't. I know I'm not a priest and I'm not bound to... I still don't think it's my place to share.
Of course.
I liked hearing from people like that. But there were so many other stories. Couples fighting in the back seat. Family troubles, work troubles. There's the cheating, a lot of cheating. Women, and men too, but mostly women. They'd tell me that they were going to see their lover, that they had a husband and some kids at home, but they needed something new, something different. A few hours every month or two where they weren't the person they'd been forged into by everything around them. One of them, a gorgeous woman like a young Sophia Loren, she flagged me down outside an apartment building on 57th. I usually avoid streets like that. Rich people, the really rich, they're always bad tippers, but like I said, she was gorgeous. Always fun to have gorgeous people in your cab. She strutted like she was on her way to a hair appointment, but she told me to drive to Green and Broom. This was back when actual artists lived in Soho. I just asked how she was doing, making conversation, and she needed to tell someone. She said that it wasn't about the sex. The artist was a sculptor, so he had good hands, but that was the only decent thing about it. And her husband wasn't even a bad guy. A bit boring, a bit finance, but fine. No, it was about building a secret part of herself. That was the attraction. By choosing this, she was proving to herself that she could still make choices, that she could still fuck up her life if she wanted to.
But she still kept it a secret. Except to you.
Except to me. But I'm just a cab driver.
What do you think happened to her after she got out of the cab?
I think her and the sculptor had mediocre sex.
I mean,
I know what you mean. Maybe she had sex with him a few more times, then stopped, keeping her secret like a locket next to her breast. Maybe she ran away from her life, left her rich husband, decided that she wasn't the person on 57th Street. She was the person in Soho, in the taxi cab with me. I think her favorite part of the experience, cheating, it wasn't the sex. It was being in the taxi with me, telling me her secret, who she really was, who she wanted to be. There's something sacred in hearing that.
The secular confessional.
Exactly. I wonder if the woman who screwed the ex-priest, the cabbie, ever told her secret in the backseat of a taxi. Probably not.
Why do you say that?
Well, when I was a fleet driver, I talked to some of the other cabbies. We'd swap stories, gossip. They heard a lot of cheating stories, but just from men, never women. And I heard a lot of cheating stories, but just from women. Makes sense. Especially back then. There weren't a lot of women cabbies, so the priest lover probably never shared her story.
I bet it's different than the story the ex-priest told.
You're right. I bet it is. I always wanted to pick up two sides of the same story. The cheater and the cuckold. The two brothers fighting over their dead mother's apartment. The childhood friends wondering if there was something more. But I never did in my... Is it strange that I don't remember exactly how many years I drove a cab? I was thinking of it earlier when you asked me exactly how long I lived in that in-between place on the road. I mean, I know in general, but it's the lane lines on the BQE melding together as you go faster and faster. That's just my imagination, though. No one ever went that fast on the BQE.
Do you remember what made you want to become a taxi driver?
Yeah. My family and I immigrated to New York when I was young, but I never really felt part of the city. I wanted to know it. There's a freedom when you're driving in the city. It's not the same as the open road. It's a freedom of flowing like water where you're most needed. And it's good money. My family said I'd get robbed and beaten up and the other drivers would piss in my coffee. That it wasn't something a girl like me should do, which made me want to do it even more. And they weren't wrong, exactly. I got robbed twice, but I was lucky. They just took the money, not the car. A checker cab is tricky to boost, and when I was a fleet driver, the others took a while to get used to me. The dispatcher gave me the nickname Streisand. Do you get the joke? It's because I have a big nose. It's very funny. I told Jack, that was the dispatcher, I told him that he looked like a witch tried to turn a frog into a prince, but then got stuck halfway through. He didn't give me any good assignments for weeks after that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's fine. I think part of him liked that I didn't take all of his shit. Most of the other drivers, you make a few jokes about pissing, you cover for them to dispatch, they get used to you. They see you as an exception to however they feel about women in general, and I was only in a fleet for a few years. I got my medallion pretty quick, and once I got that, I'd see other cabbies occasionally at Belmore Cafeteria or places like that, but it was easy to keep to myself. To see the city from the front seat. Hear stories. Eavesdrop on people's lives. The stories, the images, they're still with me. Even now.
That sounds comforting.
Ferrying some club kids to some out-of-the-way warehouse in Maspeth. Hearing the thumping bass blast from dozens of yards away. The kids checking their hair in the mirror, making sure it looked like they hadn't spent too much time on it. The coked-up businessman, jittery and eager to tell you about how they were going to take over the world. Going to some restaurant that did something innovative with foam. They either tipped really well or not at all. The grandparents who couldn't afford a car, going for their monthly grocery trip. You had to help them with their bags after. I mean, you didn't have to, but you did. The grade A NYC characters, the accents and voices you don't hear anywhere else. The airport rides and the people that just needed to get out of the rainstorm. The moments when it would just be you in the car, looking for a hail, only your radio to keep you company. And sometimes I'd turn the radio off and it would only be the sounds of the city, and I'd feel like I was on a river, ferrying people to where they needed to go. A priest and a confessor and a vessel for stories and souls and the teeming mass of a city that I was both part of and removed from. It was... I don't know what it was, but it was my life. What about you? Your life?
Excuse me?
It feels a bit strange to be dominating the conversation. Not something I'm used to. Other cabbies love to talk. They thought that you had to do patter to get a good tip, but I think writers either want to talk about themselves or they want silence. So I'm not accustomed to this, whatever this is.
I'm sorry. I don't...
Don't apologize. It's all right. Just, how are you doing, Mel?
In general, or...
Well, it would depend on the person, but I'd usually ask them about the weather or sports, or sometimes I didn't need to ask about anything. They just start talking. Well, strange to be on this side. I don't know how I feel about it.
Well, this week has been all right. I didn't realize how disgusting cat food actually is before I took in Bing Bong, but I'm starting to really enjoy the company. I think the cat's warming up to me. She whines at my bedroom door if I don't leave it open, which is both annoying and cute. I'm researching more about the widow Dotson. I think I might be starting to figure something out, which is exciting. And I had a conversation with a ballet dancer a few days ago.
Jerome?
Yeah, Jerome Chalk.
Didn't think he'd ever open the Onyx door. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was a fascinating conversation. The art scene of 70s and 80s New York, well, you know about it. You were there.
I just drove some of them.
Still, I try not to engage in false nostalgia, but I do think there's something to be said for a city where artists could actually afford the rent. I promised Jerome I'd go to a ballet performance.
Have you been yet?
Yesterday.
What did you think?
I don't know much about ballet or dancing, probably obvious from the way I present myself, but it was set to a selection of Philip Glass pieces, which I appreciated. I like Philip Glass. I wasn't quite sure how I felt, to be honest.
Really?
Yes. I don't think I understood any of it, if it was trying to say anything, but I think I was in awe of the way they moved, of their physicality, of the effort they put into the whole thing, the way they dedicated their lives to be able to do things that someone like me couldn't do in a million years. It was like watching a baseball game, in a way, watching people perform things that took your breath away. I wanted to, I don't know, tell the dancers that after the show. I think everyone in the crowd did. After the curtain went down, I wanted to talk through what I was feeling, but, well, I went alone.
You're talking to me.
I guess you're right. Is this why you don't want to pass on? Are you attached to...
Mal, if it were possible, I would switch positions with you.
What do you mean?
When I was driving, I never wanted to stop hearing people's stories, getting little windows into their lives, and it felt like it would never end. Here, in Greybriar, you get to do the same thing. You're trying to convince people to open the Onyx store. I was trying to get them to give a tip, but that's not what we're really after. No, what we want is to listen. Now, when you look at me, when you think about my life, how I spent it, do you pity me?
What do you mean?
Sometimes I wonder if I should have been more than a repository for stories. I thought about this while I was alive, too. I came to the conclusion that because of something inside me, that I was fashioned in such a way that that's what I wanted to be, a driver. But more than that, a listener. So, do you think I'm broken, Mal?
No. No, I don't.
See, there's the pity.
I'm not...
It's all right. You just need to decide whether you're like me. Do you think you are, Mal?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm curious. I enjoy hearing other people's stories. When I started this job, I didn't know what it would entail. I thought it would be a archival gig, which interested me, but the fact that I can hear from an actual ward boss who lived through the height of Tammany Hall or an Irish immigrant maid. Do you know how rare primary sources are for working class women, especially servants? Subway conductors, writers, Dodgers fans, ballet dancers. I wouldn't have gone to the ballet if I hadn't talked to Jerome. And they're all actual people whose lives were shaped by the grand machinations of history.
Like you.
Yes. Like me. And even the permanent residents I can't get to pass on, I find it a bit easier to connect with them than the living. I'm beginning to become friendly with some of them, closer than I am to anyone alive. Perhaps that's a reflection on me. Not perhaps. Certainly. And I'm now very confident that you all aren't hallucinations and that I'm not going mad. There were a few weeks where I sort of wavered back and forth. Fortunately, Newbie and the other staff made it very clear what my primary responsibility is, even if they don't outright say it. I'm sorry for venting.
It's okay.
You're a good listener. Not many of the permanent residents are. You must have been a great taxi driver, a great secular confessor.
You're not bad yourself.
Thank you.
It seems to me like you just need to decide whether you really want to walk the path I walked, if you want to walk a different path, or walk the same path in a different way. Becoming friends with a maid who died 100 years ago is...
Is what?
I don't know. Maybe you can find all you need amongst the dead. Hearing their stories, helping them, maybe that's a life. But maybe you should live your own life. I don't know. I'm used to listening. I have no answers.
Are you sure you don't regret it? Not living your own life?
I'm sure. Mostly. I don't think anyone is sure. When people were in the back of my cab, when they told me stories about their lives, I think part of the reason why they talked about who they were was to convince themselves, to make it true. You can never get out of your own head and look at yourself now. The perspective never changes. You can only look at other people, hear their stories.
Thank you.
For what?
For sharing your story. And for listening.
Of course. It's my job. This is the part where you ask for the tip.
Is there any way I can assist in your passage, Karen?
I hope I can keep hearing stories in whatever place, whatever happens.
I hope so too. You can always stay here. There's no way for me to force a permanent resident to pass on. None that I've found, anyway.
Yeah, getting tips was always tricky. No, I think I needed someone to hear my story. Caldwell, that wasn't his job. It's not yours either, I guess. You just assumed the role. Thanks to you two for listening. It's not something I'm used to.
Of course.
I think that's my cue. All right. Where to next?
Karen Inci. Passage completed.
You've been listening to Conversations with Ghosts, a Dead Signals production. For complete cast and crew credits, check out our website at conversationswithghosts.com. Dead Signals is an independent operation, and we're supported by our patrons. If you like what you hear and want to support the work we do, go to patreon.com/archive81 to sign up. You'll get a bunch of fun extras, including behind-the-scenes Q&As, music, and access to the first podcast Mark and I ever made together. That's patreon.com/archive81. As always, thanks for listening.